We are 1 week out for our next cruise, and I've started my pre-cruise preparations. What should you be doing 1 week before your cruise? I'll give you my recommendations and tips today on Seymour Seas. Everybody has their own process for preparing for a vacation. A cruise vacation, though, is slightly different, so there may be some things that you have not considered. We'll prepare you by going through my no-fail checklist. Hi everybody, if you are new here, welcome. I am Doug and this is Seymour Seas, your cruise tips and planning channel where I hope to help you and your family pick, plan, and enjoy your next vacation. If you do find this video helpful in any way, as always, please do give it that thumbs up and please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. It really does help me out. Thanks so much everybody, and let's get started. So exactly 1 week from today, we are going to board our next cruise. So I am getting ramped up to take a look and develop my checklist to make sure that I've got everything covered. We are sailing on Holland America's Rotterdam just before Christmas 2023. This is going to be a 7-night Caribbean cruise, and it's something that we've been looking forward to for some time now. By describing that cruise to you, I just went through a few of the very important things that you need to consider when developing your checklist and starting your planning. The first is, where are we going on the cruise? Ours is a Caribbean cruise. What if yours is Alaska? What if yours is in the Med? What if it is Australia, New Zealand? The next is, how long is this cruise? Is it a weekend getaway? Is it a 7, 10, 14 night cruise? These are very, very important items to consider and note before you start your planning. As you have identified a couple of those things, you also want to consider how many dressy nights, formal nights, evening chic, gala nights, whatever they're calling it on your cruise. How many are you going to have? On a 7-night, we normally have 2. 14, you're going to have 4, and maybe on a 10-night, you may have 3. You've probably already purchased your excursions as well, so make sure you take a look at those and see if there's any special items that you might need for those specific excursions. All of this is leading up to one of the biggest items on the pre-cruise checklist, and that is packing clothes. What do I need to bring with me on this particular cruise? Again, this has to do a lot with the weather and what climate you will find yourself in during your vacation. Since we are in warm weather in the Caribbean, we're going to be looking at our swimwear. What do we need for the pool as well as for the beach? In cold weather climates, you would also want to consider jackets, sweatshirts, and maybe hats and even gloves, depending on what you're planning to do on that cruise. And dinner attire is something that we consider, and we have reduced our packing as it relates to the dressy items due to the fact that most cruise lines have drastically reduced their requirements for gala nights or formal nights. We get away with dress pants, collared shirts, and dress shoes most of the time. We no longer bring suits, but people do dress to the nines. So guys, if you want to take a tuxedo or a suit, go right ahead. And ladies, if you want to dress in those formal gowns, absolutely do so. You will not be the only one doing so on the cruise. Now this next one goes for both men and women. You want to take a look at how many shoes you're bringing with you. We normally have sandals, tennis shoes, and dress shoes. That's it. You should choose those accordingly. Make sure that you can take those tennis shoes to the gym. You can also have them as walking shoes while in port. And then the one pair of dress shoes, make sure that you can use them on both of your outfits for the formal night. We normally work out most of the days on the cruise, so we also take workout shorts and shirts as well as separate pairs of socks for our workout gear. Some things that we have learned not to forget are things like additional socks for the formal nights, as well as not having to reuse socks because we didn't bring enough. Then there are belts. Many times one of us has forgotten a belt. We've either gone without, or sometimes they have them in the shops on board. And then there are items for the excursions that we have forgotten in the past. Many of the more strenuous excursions do require that you wear closed-toed shoes. So our sandals are the type that have the closed-toed, so we can use those on those types of excursions. Other times you're going to be in muddy areas or dirty areas where you might be hiking, so you might want to take an additional pair of hiking boots with you. Also, on those beach excursions, or say in Jamaica where you are climbing up the waterfalls, you may want to also make sure that you pack some heavy-duty water shoes. In addition to the standard toiletries that I would bring on any vacation, there are some things that you might want to consider taking on the cruise with you. One thing that we bring with us, we have one of those small water picks in the bathroom that we use after meals, so we bring one of those along with us as well. Then you also want to make sure that you have up-to-date, fresh toothache medicine such as Ambisol, or even one of those dental repair kits. We have actually needed that on 2 different cruises. And then it's always nice to have some extra band-aids or bandages in your toiletry bag, as well as one of those small travel sewing kits. Those have come in handy on more than one occasion. One of the things that I did this morning was take a look at my medications that we might need, and I made sure that I packed my travel medication kit today, making sure that I had enough, and if I needed refills, to make sure that I did that this week. Then you also obviously want to make sure that you have all of your charging cables for all the electronics that you're going to be bringing with you. Your laptop, your mouse, your cameras, all of the different things that you'll need to charge, such as your watch, as well as your phone during the day as well as overnight. I also make sure that I always bring a USB charging brick with me if we're going off the ship into port, so that we always have a backup if our phones should run out of power. I've also included my USB charging hub, which I use on absolutely every cruise, due to the fact that most cruise ships, even the newest cruise ships, have a limited amount of outlets available to you in the stateroom for all that electronic equipment that we bring with us these days. There may be some specialty items that you want to bring with you on your cruise, so make sure that you add those to your pre-cruise packing list so you don't forget them. Now, some of the things to note that you do not need to bring with you is soap. The cruise lines will provide you both soap for the sink as well as the bath and shower, and they also provide shampoo and conditioner. You may want to bring moisturizer due to the fact that some cruise lines are no longer providing that. You will also find a hairdryer either in the bathroom or in the vanity that normally contains some sort of makeup mirror as well as lit vanity station for putting on makeup. For all of those items that I can pre-pack, I've already, as I mentioned, put some of those in my backpack or sat them aside in the guest room so that they are available when we put everything together. I do have another video on my channel that you might want to check out. It is all about the pre-planning checklist, how to develop it, and you can also download a copy for yourself. I'll leave a link in the description below. As I have all of my clothes, my electronics, and my toiletry items together, I do make a side list on the spreadsheet to make sure that I have all of the things that I need to purchase. These might be things such as travel toiletry sized items. Great space-saving tip there. Get those medications refilled, as well as one thing that we always bring with us is foot spray. It's always good to spray your sandals and your shoes during the day so your stateroom remains fresh. After you've taken a look at all of your clothes and you've decided that you need to replace 1 or 2 items, absolutely put that on the purchase list and go get them during the week. However, I do caution you that you do not need to go out and buy a bunch of brand new stuff. You really don't need to dress to impress on the cruises. Remember, this is your vacation and you should feel comfortable. You do not have to dress up for anyone else. You just simply need to adhere to the requirements of the dress codes for dinner and for lunch. You obviously are not going to be wearing your shorts or swimwear to dinner in the main dining room. However, you do want to make sure that this is your enjoyable time and that you're not spending a lot of additional money where you really don't have to. One thing to consider, though, and something that I had to do for this particular cruise, is that most of the cruise lines will have some sort of theme night party, and it might be the white party, it might be, such as on Virgin Voyages, the Scarlet Night, which is where everybody wears red. We're going on Holland America, and they have an orange night, and it's a party on deck. And I did not have any shirts that were orange, so just to wear with my jeans for that particular party, I went online and my orange polo is arriving tomorrow. Another thing that I do the week before my cruise is make sure that I have all of my documentation handy, whether it is on the cruise line app or whether or not I have a printed backup with me that I take along on every cruise. These will be things such as, if you're flying, you want to make sure that you've printed out your boarding pass as well as having them on the app, and that you have all of your personal identification available. Make sure that your driver's license is current, up to date, and also your passports are also current and up to date. Hopefully you checked this long before the week before the cruise. You also want to make sure for the airlines that you do have your luggage tags on your luggage. Make sure that you do not put your cruise ship luggage tags on those bags when you check them at the airport. Speaking of those cruise luggage tags, make sure that you print those out in color. They are sent to you via email or they are on the cruise ship website in your docks location. I just went to Office Depot today and made sure that we printed 2 for each of us. You will also need a printed copy of that boarding pass, which will have either a QR code or a barcode that they will scan either in paper form, or it's also available on the cruise line app. I always print out the cover of my travel insurance documentation, as well as I print out all of the items that I have purchased pre-cruise from the cruise planner on the cruise line website, such as all my excursions, if I've purchased any packages such as the drink package or a Wi-Fi package. I have confirmations of those in case anything should happen upon boarding the ship. I can go to guest relations and get it worked out quickly. If we're driving to the port, I make sure that I have all of the directions available, as well as if I'm doing off-site parking, which we normally do in Port Everglades or Port Miami. We will make sure that we have the printed confirmation for the off-site parking available as well. If you're staying in a pre or post hotel, make sure that you've also have a printed copy of that confirmation in case they don't have your reservation upon check-in. And finally, some of the things that we do right before we leave for the port the last day or two is that, one, we will let our neighbors know that we will be gone for that week. And for work and for personal, we will go into our email accounts and make sure that we set the out of office times for that and make sure they are scheduled appropriately. We also make sure that we program our smart thermostat, making sure that it knows that we're away, and we set the temperatures accordingly. And the last thing that we do is we go into our security system and make sure that all of our security settings and cameras are set to an increased sensitivity and make sure that they're recording and monitoring everything while we're gone. We do all of these final steps to make sure that we are going to have the best vacation possible and that we're not worrying about anything at home, so it is in the same great condition as we left it. I want to remind you that we do all of this to make sure that we are focusing on us and our vacation. We don't want to have to worry about anything while we're away. Remember some of those things that I taught you, and you will absolutely have a great vacation. Thanks everybody for watching today. If you would like a copy of my packing list, make sure that you email me at the email address seen below. I'll also leave it in the description of this video. I hope that you found this video helpful. If so, please do give it that thumbs up, and please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. As you prepare for your cruise, you may be interested in one of these videos next. Thanks everybody for watching, and as always, I'll see you again soon.